Okay, so from Langley Hallinger, I'm sorry if I'm butchering these names. She has asked, how much cardio do you do? How do you curb cravings? Do you follow macros? Okay, how much cardio do you do? So this varies. This depends. I don't do cardio. I don't know. Maybe I do cardio every day. It's not that I have to do cardio. It's just kind of built into my workouts every day. And I enjoy doing cardio. It's not, again, it's not that I have to. It's not part of my like strict regimen. Okay, if I'm in contest prep, I do a lot of cardio. I'm doing a lot of like high intensity cardio at the end of my workouts. Right now, I'm kind of doing more of like low intensity cardio after my workouts. I do anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes of cardio after my workouts. That's really important for me, at least. And I think for majority of people, if you are on a really good strict, weight training regimen, don't do your cardio before. Do not do your cardio before. You will reap the benefits of weight training, making sure that you are having enough energy and enough endurance to get through your heavy weight training first. That's the most important because that's where you're going to get the most fat loss anyways, not from cardio, guys, not from cardio. And then do your cardio afterwards. My cardio for me right now is kind of more of like a cool down or just kind of like a finishing off or finishing offer. I don't know what I just said. Finishing off the workout, just to kind of slow down my heart rate because my workouts are pretty intense. I don't take a whole lot of rest, so I'm already getting like my heart rate is already up from my workouts. I'm already getting kind of like a cardio workout already from my weight training. But I always save my cardio for at the end, and I actually look forward to doing cardio because that's when I get to watch my YouTube videos, catch up on social media, and it's just kind of like me time. Just kind of like have my headphones in, I'm kind of in the zone. I like to people watch if I'm on the treadmills, it's just kind of like my time. I actually really enjoy cardio. So I guess I do cardio about 5 days a week, but again, it's not like high intensity cardio and I'm not doing it for hours. It's anywhere from like 10 to 20 minutes. And it varies between like treadmills, at inclines, interval running, either Stairmasters, the elliptical, the bicycle. The bicycle kills my teardrop quad. Oh my gosh. Okay, hope that answers about the cardio. How do you curb cravings? So right now, if I have a craving, okay, let me back up. When I'm in contest prep, how I curb cravings. BCAAs or amino acids because most of the time those are flavored like fruity flavors, so I'll drink some of that. Or for me personally, this worked even during contest prep. If I had an absolute craving and I tried everything else, like I tried to ignore it and it wouldn't go away, if I felt like that I was about to break down and just binge eat on whatever I was craving, I would just go ahead and have a bite of whatever it was. So like a lot of times I would crave pizza. I craved pizza a lot during contest prep, and Cody eats pizza all the time, so he has pizza around me all the time. All I would do is like take one bite of pizza, savor it, and enjoy it, and I was fine. I could back away, and that was fine for me. Some people that just kind of like releases the curve, the craving monster, and they just want more. But that works for me. If I can just have like a little taste of what I'm craving, it's fine. Or I think the other thing, I would chew gum, like either just regular mint gum or fruity gum. That always helped a lot in my cravings. Again, I think BCAAs were probably the best. And then just drinking lots of water if I just had cravings. And just trying to think positive about or remind myself why I'm doing this, so I wouldn't completely just reverse and go for those things I was craving and completely ruin my diet for that day. Just remember like why I was doing what I was doing and remember my goals at hand. But now, since I'm not in contest prep, when I have cravings. So again, like I said, I'm really good during the week. I am so good during the week on my diet and nutrition and training. But when the weekends come, if I'm still craving something in particular, I'll go ahead and have it because I'm not getting ready for the stage. So I'm okay with, having a little taste or a little piece or treating myself on the weekends because I've been so good during the week. That's just me, but everyone's different. Okay, do you follow macros? I get this question all the time. I do not follow macros. I don't do if it fits your macros. I'm not a flexible dieter. I consider myself more of like your old school bro diet or clean eating diet, which clean eating to me is like a very arbitrary term. I'm probably more of just your old school dieter. But I like to know how much macros I am eating. So if I do want to change up my diet, change up my brew diet, I can substitute something that is the equivalent of that protein or carbs or fat that I would be eating in that meal. And I'll do that if I want to switch up my foods. So I feel like I'm kind of in between. I don't count macros, like I don't calculate my macros, and I don't come up with meals every single day because I personally don't have time for that. Kudos to people who do the flexible dieting and plan out their meals like every day or whatever, but I personally don't have time for that. I like structured meals. I like to know what I'm eating, and I like to know the results I'm going to get from eating that, so that's why I choose to do more of like your old school like bro diet or bro diet, clean eating. And again, I like to know my macros though, what I'm eating for those couple of weeks or for that month. So again, if I do go out to eat, I can kind of use intuitive dieting. And if I do want to actually use my MyFitnessPal and log it in, I can do that, or I just kind of like have a rough estimate of, again, this is how much protein I would usually eat at this meal at this time, so that's what I'm going to eat right now. And then, I don't know. I don't really count macros. That's just not what I do right now. So, hope that answers that question. Okay. How do you juggle the schoolwork, the meal prep, and the workouts? I find that school ultimately, this is from Taylor Hayes. I find that school ultimately takes over my life. Okay, you're completely right, Taylor Hayes. School does take over your life, and it should be your number one priority. So just remember that. But you have to be able to make sacrifices and find what works best for you and your schedule. For me personally, obviously school used to take up like 95% of my time, literally. So I would just have to find that perfect sweet spot between when was the best time for me to go work out. Either after I got most of my schoolwork done or before I got most of my schoolwork done. It depends if you're like a night owl or an early morning person to get everything done. I'm not one person that can stay up really past 12 and do schoolwork past 12. I've never been that person in college that pulled all-nighters, that stayed up till like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and then slept a couple hours and took their tests or whatever they need to do. I've never been like that. 1 o'clock is probably like super pushing it for me, but that's like if I'm just super stressed out and just wanting to get every last minute of studying that I can get done. But I'm just not that person, so you just need to figure out like what works best for you. For me personally, my Sunday routine involves getting up, going to church, eating lunch, going to the grocery store, and meal prepping. I meal prep all my meals on Sunday. I go ahead and set aside that 1 to 2 hours that it's going to take me to meal prep all my meals for the week to make sure that I stay on track during the week. Because if I don't meal prep on Sunday, or if I wouldn't meal prep on Sunday, then I felt that much stressful to take time away during the week, to cook my food, because it was taken away from my schoolwork, from my study time. So if I just sacrifice those 2 hours on this Sunday to meal prep everything, and that way during the week, I would come home from work or school, grab what I need to eat it really fast, wash those dishes, I was done. Then I went upstairs and did my schoolwork. So I wasn't spending hours in the kitchen cooking something every night. But that's just how it works for me. And again, with my workouts, I kind of already knew that it's going to take a good chunk, about 2 hours out of my afternoon for my workouts. So that was another thing why it was so important for me to meal prep on Sundays, because I was already sacrificing about 2 hours out of my day to go to the gym. So yeah, that's just how it worked for me. That's how I balanced it. But again, if there's something that came up with school where I just felt like I just really couldn't, I really needed every bit of those 2 hours. If I wanted to go to sleep that night, then I wouldn't go to the gym. I just wouldn't. Because your school should be number one. It should be the most important thing. Okay, for Cars X, the best tips for gaining weight by gaining muscle without gaining too much fat. Okay, this is one of those weird questions that I get a lot too, and that I think people, they know the answer, but okay. So you're going to gain weight if you gain muscle, right? Okay, because fat weighs more than muscle. So like a 5 pounds of fat is like this big versus 5 pounds of muscle is like this big. So muscle is so much more dense than fat. It weighs much more than fat. So a lot of people kind of get discouraged when they see the weight scale going up after they've been working out for so much. Like they initially see like a weight loss because they are losing fat, but over time you're gaining muscle. So you're gonna be you may look heavier on the scale than you do in person, but gaining weight. So basically, if you are going to gain muscle, you have to have a high protein diet. That is going to be the most key. And you got to eat enough carbs. Carbs play into muscle building as well. Proteins is the muscle synthesis of building muscle, but you got to have carbs to replenish your body, to replenish your muscles in order for those muscles to grow. So you got to have a well-rounded diet of fats, carbs, and protein, mainly high in protein. That is the biggest thing. High protein, girls. You got to eat your protein. In heavy weight training, you've got to get off the cardio machines and go to the weights to gain muscle. Cardio, you're completely just canceling out what you're trying to achieve. Yeah, you're going to have some fat loss, but you're not going to have that muscle gain. So you're just going to have that kind of lanky, not muscly toned body by just only doing cardio, and that's not what we want. Women, we want to look strong and have curves. So you got to hit the weights. You got to make sure you have proper weight training. And proper nutrition. That's going to be the biggest thing to gaining weight by gaining muscle weight. So just kind of keep that in mind. And you won't, as long as your diet is well balanced, you don't have too much fat and too much carbs, you're not going to gain fat. You're actually going to lose weight, but you're going to maintain and grow that muscle. Okay. And then from Tiffany Koo, yes. How do you handle farm school and fitness and competing? Did you learn a lot from farm school about vitamins and supplements that you've incorporated into your nutrition? If so, what? Thank you so much for sharing your videos. Okay, I think I've kind of touched a little bit on how I handle pharmacy school and fitness and competing. Again, pharmacy school comes first, or it always has. And then I just kind of worked with my own personal schedule, just what worked best for me, where I could sacrifice a couple hours out of my day to get my workouts and nutrition in. And competing. Luckily, I'd have to say this with school. This is going to probably sound just really snobby of me, but I've never really had to study a whole lot to make good grades. I'm so not saying that to come off like snotty or like, I don't know, douchey or anything. I just really haven't. I haven't had to stay in my room 24 hours to study constantly, so I think that kind of helps a little bit with me, even though pharmacy school is so hard. And also with pharmacy school, because it is so hard, I got over the fact that I came from being top of my class like in undergrad and like high school to kind of mediocre, I would say, in pharmacy school, because in pharmacy school you have the top of the top smartest people, right? And I kind of got over the fact that I'm not going to make an A on every single test or whatever. And I was okay with that because it doesn't matter in the end. Just as long as you get your degree and you've actually learned something and you're successful, that's all that matters. So I would not beat myself up to study 24 hours during the day like most people, become a hermit in my room and study 24 hours, even though my friends would say differently who aren't in pharmacy school. But they don't understand because they're not in pharmacy school. I don't know. You'll figure out how you can handle it. Be a planner. Be organized. That's how I am. Did you learn a lot about vitamins and supplements that you've incorporated into your nutrition? Okay, so we learned a lot about vitamins, obviously a lot of over-the-counter stuff, but supplements, no, because my supplements are workout, training. They're training supplements like proteins and glutamine and, I don't know, the biggest thing that we learned about was like fish oil, but it's more geared towards the health benefits. Like fish oil obviously helps lower cholesterol and triglycerides. That's why people take it. Why most people take fish oils is for that. But I take it not only for heart healthy reasons because it's healthy fish fats, but it also helps with it's anti-inflammatory. So it also helps with kind of recovery, helping you not be so sore. So that's just kind of an example. Other than that, for me, we really learned about vitamins and what everybody should be taking, like adults and then like the elderly population, like what dosage and stuff they should be taking. But it's different if you're an endurance athlete, such as me or anyone that is competitively training or, doing any type of strenuous training, you're going to require a little bit more than the average. So just kind of knowing that difference there. But yeah, I guess that answers that question. Again, it's pharmacy school, so we learned a lot more about prescription drugs instead of like over-the-counter stuff like vitamins and such. Okay, Rachel Ovalman. How did you get into competing? I would love to compete one day, but I'm still in the process of losing weight with a bikini competition as my ultimate goal. Also, what do you recommend for people with a desire to compete? Okay, so first of all, what do you recommend for people? I'm going to answer that question first. Make sure that you're wanting to compete for you. You're not wanting to do it for anyone else. You're not wanting to do it to just win a trophy, because a lot of people, that's the only reason why they do it. You have to know that it's going to be a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, a lot of commitment. And I would also make sure that you are able to find someone like a coach to help you out. I think it's so important to have a coach. Okay, so next question is from Christina Smith. Do you ever cycle off supplements? I'm gonna try. She has a lot of questions, so I'm gonna try to answer these like really short and sweet. So, do you ever cycle off supplements? Yes. After my last show back in August of last year, I cycled off everything I was on. That was fat burners, pre-workouts. I still drank protein shakes just because it's just really easy for me to get my protein intake that way. But I didn't drink like as many as I was. But yes, I do cycle off supplements. I think it's really important for you to cycle off if you can. If you're not if you're not in contest prep or anything, I would, if you're on supplements for about 3 months, cycle off for about 2 or 3 months. I would definitely encourage cycling off. Why did you get into pharmacy? I got into pharmacy because there was 3 main options that I wanted to do before going into college. I either wanted to be an ER surgeon, a veterinarian, or a pharmacist. And I ruled out veterinarian because I love animals too much and I get really attached to them, and anything sad about them makes me cry, and I could not put any animal to sleep, and I would be broke as hell because I would take every animal home. So I just couldn't be a veterinarian for those reasons. And then I chose not to be an ER surgeon because I'm a very family oriented person, and I want to be able to be with my family when I can. I didn't want to have to be on these outrageous on-call hours and never really see my family a whole lot. So that's kind of how I branched over to pharmacy, because pharmacy is a super flexible job. There is tons and tons and tons of so many different opportunities and fields in the field of pharmacy, and your hours are so flexible depending on what you are doing in pharmacy. So for me, I've always worked in an independent pharmacy. And we're only open 8 to 6 Monday through Friday, and on Saturdays 8 to 12, closed on Sundays. That is fantastic. The earliest I go in is 8, the latest I leave at 6. All paid holidays. I get as much vacation or time off that I want. It's great. I just really enjoyed pharmacy, but I'm still with the public. I'm still in the health care system. I'm still a professional health care provider, so I'm still helping people. And learning about, medicines and disease states, and I just enjoy it. I don't know. I just really enjoy it, pharmacy. So your other question was, do multivitamins work? Yes. I think everyone should be on a multivitamin, especially anyone who's at least like 18 years or older, or even at like 16 years older. I don't know. At least 18 years older, you should definitely be on a multivitamin. Most people are not even getting anywhere close to their vitamins in their nutrition. But yes, I do think vitamins work. I personally, that's another thing I kind of cycled off too, besides supplements, with vitamins, just to see what a difference it would make. And I honestly think it made a difference in just how I felt and just kind of how my body responded to like foods in general. I think vitamins definitely work, personally. How did you get into fitness? I think I've kind of already like addressed that. Do you count macros? I already addressed that. What do you do if you are feeling weak, needing more food? If I'm hungry, I eat. It's a little bit different if I'm in contest prep again, because I'm on a certain like calorie restriction, a certain nutrition regimen. But even then, like my coach would most of the time say, if you're feeling weak or hungry, then eat. And of course, I try to make healthier options if I'm feeling like super hungry or something. I'll try to eat like a protein source, or maybe something that has a little bit of carbs in it. But if I'm feeling weak and needing more food, then I freaking eat. I don't starve myself. And obviously you're hungry for a reason, because your body needs more food. It's like, help me, feed me, I need more food, so feed your body. Do you work out on your period? Yes. I don't know why people are so scared to work out on their period. I actually hear this a lot. Me personally, I've never had bad periods. I'm like, I barely even have one, actually. Sorry for the guys that are watching this channel, by the way. I've been really fortunate. I don't get bad cramps, or I don't get like moody. I don't really have any issues, I guess, that comes with getting a period. But yeah, I definitely work out on my period. It's not a factor. Like, I don't even think about being on my period when I work out. So definitely work out on your period. Okay, so I think one of the last questions I'll get to, because this has been a really long video, so sorry. Do you use a food scale to get exact measurements? Yes and no. I have been using the food scale for about 6 months now, because the battery died in mine, and I'm just too lazy to go to the store to remember to get a battery to replace it. So for the past 6 months, I have not been using a food scale. But I've done meal prep so much that I can easily eyeball 4 ounces of chicken or something, and that's just what I go by. So I feel like I'm just really used to measuring stuff anyways and getting a good estimate. And a lot of times, I'll use measuring cups. That's kind of like my other way of measuring, because I don't know, you can kind of get a half a cup of rice is equivalent to 3 ounces of rice or something like that. So I've kind of learned to interchange my units that way of measuring. But when I'm in contest prep, yes, I do measure to an exact T. I do measure an exact 4 ounces of chicken, 3 ounces of steak, or whatever. I do that. Okay, so this is going to wrap up this video, because this video is probably 45 minutes long now. And I hope I answered everything, and I hope I didn't ramble on too much. And I will be working on doing some more videos. So thank y'all so much for watching.